Hi there, everyone. We'll start in a few minutes. Hey, Farhan. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes for people to join, and we'll talk about the topic I'm going to discuss today. It's a bit of a mix of a few things I just want to get off my chest, I think. And we'll start shortly. Ahmed, where are you based? And if you guys have got any questions or any topics you want me to answer or talk about, or anything that's particularly bothering you in practice as an associate or principal, just let me know. And if I can't answer now, I'll incorporate it into another live. Hey Sarah, thanks for joining. Just a minute or so left till 12 o'clock and then we'll crack on. A few other people joining us. Right, it's 12 o'clock. Let's crack on. So, again, I want to talk about things I've mentioned before, using your time wisely. And so I hope that you guys are spending the time not doing the gardening and really considering and thinking about your business and your dentistry when you go back. So I hear a lot of business owners, not just dentists, who are enjoying the good weather and making the most out of going outside and really enjoying their gardens and their homes and doing those DIY projects. But really, is that the best use of our time? Now, of course, you can't work all the time, but we've got now some freedom to literally do some blue sky thinking and really understand our businesses, understand the way we work, and maybe to review how we're doing things and how we're working. I think we're never going to be given this opportunity again. And it's important that we take this time to really look at our processes and our systems and our practice lives. So, for example, as an associate, would it be a good idea to look at how you, for example, do a cram prep? Is there a set process you follow, or is it a bit haphazard? Does everything come out of the cupboards and the drawers, or are you very clear on what you're going to do in minute 1, in minute 2, as you move through the procedure? Are you very process oriented? And the beauty of being process oriented is your nurse knows exactly what you need and when you need it, and it makes you super efficient. It also means that if you have a checklist kind of attitude to your dentistry in your surgery, for example, I don't know, you're not allowed to do a prep on a tooth unless you have an x-ray and it's up on the screen. So that could be a brilliant way to say to your nurse, I am not allowed to do this procedure unless I've got an x-ray, a pre-op x-ray, and empower her to stop you. So there's a checklist that she goes down, I need this, I need this, I need this, and there must be an x-ray up on the screen before we begin. There must be consent in the notes previously, tick. But if the x-ray is not done or it's not up on the screen and it hasn't been reported on, then that would be a stop point. And if you've given her the opportunity, you've empowered her, I should say, to be able to say, Doc, you need to stop now because we haven't got an x-ray. It's very important that we get one done. And the minute she points to it on the checklist, you're going to know that you need one. And it means that your notes are then consistent, your notes are contemporaneous, your notes are then, they're not so easily challenged by those that may want to challenge them in the future. So it's really important that we work to checklists and processes, and it's a simple thing to start thinking about all those procedures that you do where you can introduce processes and checklists. There's an excellent book by a surgeon in the States where he uses the airline industry and he brings it into medicine, and he does exactly this. And he comments on the fact that where there's been accidents or air accident investigations where they look at things, they talk about how there is a culture in certain countries where the co-pilot won't challenge the pilot just because it's disrespectful, it's seen as disrespectful. And he wanted to bring the checklist element from the airline industry into medicine, but he wanted to also look at how the culture affects. So in our industry, that would be the nurse not wanting to contradict the dentist or not wanting to stop the dentist if she saw something going wrong. But I think if we have those conversations with our staff to say, look, we're all here learning and we all want to do the best for our patients, it's really important, therefore, to make sure that you empower your team, that they can stop you and say, you're actually wrong, you can't do this. And I have to say, my practice manager does tell me if I'm straying a bit or if I'm not doing something to the letter of the law, or I'm being a bit slack or loose and she does keep me in check, and she knows that she can do that, and that's very important. And I really appreciate being told, because sometimes when you're in the thick of it and you want to get stuff done, you don't necessarily always do everything precisely, and it's very important to have somebody external looking at what you're doing, be that a practice manager, or a nurse even in your room, just telling you, you didn't report on that x-ray, you've taken that x-ray, please make sure you report on it. Something as simple as that. But it's very important that when you're in the thick of it and you're running at 100 miles an hour in practice, that you can have somebody just watching your back and just helping you out. And it also gives them clarity of what's happening day to day and throughout the surgery, throughout the day list. And so don't underestimate the use of nurses and team members to give you those checks and balances and really help you, to guide you to have better notes, better interactions with patients. And it could be something as simple as you've agreed a process that when the patient comes in, you're going to ask them about something non-dental. You're going to talk to them for a couple of minutes just to get them used to you. And you need a reminder to do it, because sometimes you want to move too quickly. My nurses will tell me I don't stop talking in practice, but some people don't do this, and it's very important to build rapport with patients, and it's very important just to keep them at ease when you're running through your day list and you want to just get through. It's very important, because remember, that patient's probably spent 2 days worrying about this appointment. They've probably given up work to come to this appointment. They've arranged childcare or whatever it is, and do not underestimate the amount of stress it is for them to come and visit you. And I'm always impressed when my nurses tell me afterwards, and sometimes during, when I get a little tap on the shin, you slow down, or you forgot to do this, or you need to talk to your patients about that, and just slow the process down. I think when we're schooled in NHS dentistry, it tends to be very fast. We diagnose before the patient's walked in the door. We don't listen attentively, and sometimes you need somebody else in the room just saying, slow down, take it easy. You don't want to miss anything. And in this day and age with consent, and particularly consent, you definitely want somebody just watching your back. So I'm all for my team just watching us as dentists, as clinicians and hygienists as well, that we sometimes need them to help us and to guide us and to just direct us. And certainly my nurse and my practice manager, I'm very happy for them to say, Fuz, you could have done that better. This isn't the way we'd want you. We've agreed that this process should follow. So, for example, consent. I don't tend to do written consent for extractions, and that's something we're going to look at. I think it worries patients more when they have to look at an A4 page of very small writing, and I think generally, because I've known my patients for so long, I tend to just crack on. Now, maybe that's me being lulled into a false sense of security, knowing my patients for so long, and maybe it's better to have that checks and balance and processes. And these are things we're looking at in this period. We're making sure that our time is being spent well, and certainly I'm going through a lot of the things I do in surgery and making sure that I'm very clear about my processes and systems. So just a note, and that book, by the way, is The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande, I think, and it is probably on my shelf somewhere here. I'll dig it out for next time, but the Checklist Manifesto is very, very good for just looking at another industry and seeing how you can bring that industry back into dentistry. Really, really worth reading for anyone who does, who needs systems and processes, and to really think outside the box on that. So we're all trying to get out of doing housework and home stuff, and we really should be using the time to focus on our dentistry and our business and how we want to come back to practice. So if we look at it and we change our perspective and reframe what's going on now, if we were opening a practice today, if we were opening a brand new practice and it was opening in 3 or 4 weeks' time or 2 or 3 months' time, what would we be doing differently? Would we be going into the practice making sure it was nice and clean? Would we be ordering stock or checking stock and making sure everything was in date? Would we be updating our processes and procedures because maybe we've got a CQC inspection coming up? I think we've got to take this time and reframe what's going on so that we can better use it. And I think sometimes just a reframing of what's going on, can really help us focus and utilize the time to move ourselves forward, to better ourselves, to improve our practice. Because look, this time will pass. We will look back on this time and we will very much look back on this time and think, I really moved my business forward. I really did what I was supposed to do. I really used that moment in my practicing life where I had 2 or 3 months off, and I upped my game and moved my practice forward and accelerated my journey by 2 or 3 years. And yes, it is possible. I'm under no illusions that this can be done, and we can move our practices forward if we take time to think as if we're reopening or opening a brand new site. And if we're opening a brand new site, how will my diary look? What kind of diary management am I going to look at? I could really look at, I work best in the mornings when I want to do the heavy lifting. So if there's any root canal treatment, crown and bridge work, if I'm a hygienist, then I want to look at how I zone my diary to the best of the ability of the practice to do so. I really want to make sure that my full mouth debridements or my, the perio cases where I need dentist input to come in and help me, I want those in the morning where everyone's fresh. Certainly for me, if I'm placing implants or if I'm doing an ortho case or I'm a debond or something like that, I definitely want that in the morning when I'm fresher, because definitely after the lunchtime break, I tend to go out of the practice and have a bit of fresh air. And I tend to be wanting just checkups and simpler treatments in the afternoon. It can't always be done like that, but this is the time now to look at diary management, zoning. Maybe you want to look at 2 weeks ahead, make sure you keep so many slots available for big treatments. So, if somebody walks in the door and has broken a tooth, they've only got to wait a week or 10 days to be able to be seen for that preparation. And that's really important when you're looking at starting a practice. If we were going to a new practice, brand new, how would we look at our diary management? How would we look to take care of our patients in the best way? And in order to give service to our patients, we do need to think about, if somebody comes in the door and you can't see them for 8 weeks, that's no way to run a business. And it's very simple to carve out some time that maybe you have a protocol. 3 days, 2 days before, if it's not been filled, you start to fill it in with checkups or fillings or whatever it is. But those kind of not quite emergency slots, but urgent treatment slots are utilized in a particular way. And I'm sure there's guys online here that know this really well and utilize this in their practice. We don't, but it's certainly something I've been thinking about, and I don't think any of my practice receptionists are on this live. So but it's just a different way of working, and it may work, it may not. And if it doesn't, you try it, you see how it works, and you move forward, you change. So what do they say? Fail fast and fail forward. So you're always moving the practice forward, you're learning about your team, you're learning about your patients, and you're moving that practice forward. But it's always about testing what works and checking that you're getting the results from it. So you must record how it's working, and then move it forward if it's not working, or refine it and make it better if it can work. So I'm always thinking about new ways of making the practice work better. And I think as we go back to practice, I think we're going to go back to a much leaner, more refined and forward-thinking practice, certainly for us. So that's just a little bit about practice systems and how to reframe your understanding of the dentistry you want to do and the environment in which you want to practice dentistry. I think one other thing I do want to talk about very briefly is we're all in this together. There's a global pandemic going on, and I think we need to understand our position in that as people who can achieve a great deal. We're clever people, I think, and in the main, and I think we have a responsibility to do a lot for our communities and our localities. So think about what you're doing to give back to your community, because in these times of need, people want leadership and they want people to tell them and to help them in understanding what to do. So what small way are you looking after your community, your locality, your food bank or whatever it may be, or just looking after the neighbours on your street. We have a lot of elderly on our street, and we do our little bit to help where we can. And my wife's quite involved in food delivery for the local community centre. But whatever things that you do, that you facilitate, that you get involved with, it's very important. I think we could, just like we can move our businesses forward, we can go in and help charities move their processes and systems and businesses forward. Charities are always looking for people to help, and no doubt when we help other people, we find contentment in our own lives, and it also helps us not to focus on the negatives. Control what you can control and leave the rest. It's out of your hands, and just understand that you have no control over those things, and let whatever happens. You just work on yourself and your own framing of your own business and your own mind and your own family or whatever it is. But reframe what's going on so that you can better your community, your society, and ultimately yourself. And then obviously you'll take those skills and that what's learned back into your businesses and your professional lives. So I think that's a quick roundup from me. I don't want to take too much of your time. Please, if anyone saw my live yesterday, I made a really amazing offer, I felt. 2 principals, 1 associate, free coaching for 2 months. I really want to get deep into somebody's deep problems of their business, take out 1 or 2 of their big challenges and see if we can just smash them, really move them aside and help that business and that individual grow and move forward. So I made that offer yesterday. I'm going to decide who to take on from your suggestions, your applications, for want of a better word. And so I need from you, are you interested in coming on board and letting me help you, allowing me to help you? Because I know I can move your business forward in this period and really help you to understand your business better. So what I need from you is, what are your challenges and what you're looking for out of some coaching and some mentoring in practice. I've had some applications from non-dental businesses. I really don't think that's my expertise. I'm happy to have a look, but really I'm looking for 2 principals, 1 associate, and let's see if we can really move you along and accelerate your journey in dentistry. I've done this for 20 years now. I feel I've got something to offer, and I know that if I'd had what I'm offering you guys 10, 15 years ago, I'd be in a different place. I'd be much further along. And I don't want you guys to make those mistakes that I've made, and maybe just a little bit of a course correction or a steering from me might help you to really build your business faster and achieve what you want to achieve, if you know what you want to achieve. And that maybe is the first thing, to work on vision and goals and what you are trying to achieve in your business. So guys, take care, have a really great day, message me, tell me what you need, and if you want some help in your business, that's a cracking offer. 2 principals, 1 associate, and I'll choose tomorrow. We've had quite a number of applicants, but I think there's more out there that can benefit. And you know what? There's lots to learn, and sometimes as dentists we're very blinkered and very focused on what we think we know. But the idea is, use this time, benefit yourself, your community, your family, and also your working life when you go back. Take care, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the next one. And I'll let those who have been successful know they've been successful tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye bye.